kind of want to just take a minute to talk about our impressions of Samurai Shodown in a kind of like a review of sorts. Not quite, but Gordy and I have played it decently extensive. Jake is not, so Jake will.
I have some questions that I need answered.
Okay, what do you got?
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so right out of the box, you take the disc out, you put it in your machine of choice.
Well, right out of the box, that would
there?
never fucking happen because I would never buy a disc if my life depended on it.
Okay.
I'll download it.
You launch the game. What features are there? Story mode, arcade, practice mode, online mode, or online practice mode. What do you got?
So there is story mode. There is online, of course, casual and ranked. There is the dojo mode, which is where you play against the AI the learning AI, where it like is a shadow of another player. That's where you play that. And then there's the battle mode where you can play versus and stuff, probably. Yeah. And then some various options and practice and stuff like that. So these are your standard modes. Super bare bones for a $60 game compared to the likes of like Mortal Kombat 11 that just fucking dumps content down your throat. So there's that. I have not tried the story modes yet. Oh yeah, this is a loading screen for sure. The loading screens are abysmal. They take forever.
They are.
Yeah. Haven't tried the story mode. Have played online with Gordy, so we can talk about the netcode. We can't talk about couch co-op. Let me tell you. Let's talk about the elephants in the room of what's not great about the game.
Yes, please.
So, first of all, and I've heard conflicting reports on this, but the first thing is the online is just lag fucking city. And the reason that I can speak on this with some criticism is because we sat down to do couch versus to play through and just dig into the game, and you can't do it on Xbox. It doesn't work.
What?
It doesn't work. It takes you to the screen where you're supposed to like pick player one and then either player two and the computer, and they won't recognize the second controller. You can't even switch it to the computer. You cannot play local versus on the Xbox One while we were playing. So we couldn't do it. So Gordy had to go to his apartment, which was a block away from me. We live a block apart. We are both hardwired into the Xbox. I have super fast internet. Gordy has moderately fine internet. It's top speeds. And we were a block apart. It's same region, same state, literally like 800 feet away. And it was just super slow, lots of input delay. It was manageable. We played it, but I was like, this is very concerning. Now, on the flip side, in our Discord, I think it was Earthworm Ben, the guy with the worm family.
Yes. Wiggling worms.
He was saying that he played somebody in Thailand and it was flawless. So it's really interesting, the dichotomy there. Of course, he was also, I don't think it matters, but he was playing on PlayStation 4. I don't think the netcode's going to be the same all across the board, I think. So it's interesting. Hope. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So those out of the gate are things where I'm like, well, this is poorly made. But if you want to talk gameplay,
yes, please. How does it play?
It plays amazing. It's so fucking good. Now, if you are a fan of old Samurai Showdowns, and by old I mean 1 through 5, you will love this game, and it is much easier to pick up. Now, going back to the older Samurai Showdown games. They have some difficult mechanics with super moves and shit like that. The POW system, even all these years, and call me a scrub all you want, but the POW system, I've never quite understood how to manage the meter system in the old Samurai Showdown games, because we played them casually in the arcades. We played them on Super Nintendo when they came out. We never, there was no tutorials or anything, So how to manage the meter was always unknown to us. How to manage the POW system was kind of always like, what's going on? Lots of different intricacies. Is very much more modernized in this game. The meter is super easy to use with the left. We're playing on pads, mind you. We don't fuck with fight sticks. So the left trigger initiates your meter. You go into the burst mode, and then you press left trigger again to go into the lightning strike, which is really cool. It can fucking changed the entire tide of the match.
Yes,
We had
yes.
some hype moments.
Yeah.
And the super move motion, forward and then quarter circle forward, or it's forward, half circle forward, and then right trigger, which I think is heavy and something. And it's universal for everybody.
Medium and
So
heavy.
everybody's got the same special, super manageable. Some cool disarming techniques that are pretty easy to do. Once you go through the tutorial, it teaches you everything. Very cool.
Nice. That's
Damage
good.
is ridiculous in this game, Jake. So
Yeah, we expect that. They're hitting people with swords. The damage should be ridiculous.
and that's why it's so
hurts.
cool. Visually,
Feel good.
as you can see that I got footage up on the screen here. I think the graphics are cool. Slightly dated. The game doesn't run in 4K. I think it's just outputting at regular 1080p, so it doesn't take advantage of the Xbox One X, probably, or the PS4 Pro. But it looks really cool. Very Street Fighter 4. We've talked about that when the game was revealed. It's much sexier than Street Fighter 4. Obviously, we're in a different day and age, but it's got that cool painting look to it.
Yeah, that was my concern, was whether it was actually in play while you're holding your pad or stick, whether it was too much like Street Fighter 4, and if it's not, then that's great.
Yeah, no, it was. It looks beautiful. What I love is it's fucking as bloody as Samurai Shodown has always been.
Yes.
So Samurai Shodown V Special, the second version of Samurai 5, was out of control with fucking fatalities.
Yeah.
It was the only game that to my knowledge, that had fatalities. It was bloody as shit. It to the point where it was an upset for censorship in Japan. People were like, "What the fuck." Which led to Street Fighter 6 being garbage. So it's not quite as violent as that, but it's got the old school blood spurts from the old Samurai Shodown 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's got the not super gory, but it's got the bisections. So if you kill them with a heavy slash, they'll fall into two pieces. It's very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Gordy?
I love it. I love that it is a high damage game where you're trying to control the spaces. You're trying to be careful. You're afraid of screwing up because the punishes are brutal. My favorite mechanic is, well, maybe for some of the people that watch our channel, it might be a little bit easier for them as grizzled veterans of fighting games that stuck to it all these years. But catching the sword is so much fun. That little meta game, or whatever you want to call it, where you're trying to take it, you always got it in the back of your head. You want to get that sword out of their hands.
So what's happening here, Jake?
So
is
cool.
What you could do is if they slash at you with a heavy slash, you can essentially parry it by doing quarter circle forward and right bumper, whatever that would equate to on a fight stick, but your right bumper, right shoulder, and it will disarm them. And then the person that disarmed, they can do that same move if the player with the weapon is doing the slash, and they'll fucking catch the blade
in their freaking
catch
hands.
it in their hands,
So
and then
cool.
disarm them. It's
an old mechanic,
awesome.
but
so cool.
I'm sure that's satisfying as shit when you're like, there it is, got it.
There
Good to go.
is like perfect blocking. It's called just defense. So it's just like it's a thing that all the
I
games
have a
have
hard
now.
time with it though, because
It's just like flawless block in Mortal Kombat 11. So you have to block at the fucking last possible frame.
second, but it's a little harder for me because you got to press back, and the button for some reason is easier for the flawless.
Well, no, that's if you want to parry. You can still just block by just pressing back, and you'll do the blue flash flawless block, but you just won't take chip damage. But if you block and press the button, you'll do that cool parry where you can then counter.
I'm talking about in MK you press the button to block, and it's just really easy to get perfect block in MK compared to this.
Oh, okay, sure. I think it's actually, I would agree with you. Yeah, I actually have a hard time with it in this game too.
I think I'm the opposite. I have a hard time perfect blocking in Mortal Kombat, whereas like a game with Guilty Gear that has the just defense system, just pushing back is super easy for me.
Yeah,
and it's the same with like Street Fighter 3 it's the same thing but forward with the parry. So I think I'm just used to using the directional option to actually do that than a button, which makes sense because it's most
back to block. I've always, since I grew up as a Mortal Kombat fan. It's funny, Mortal Kombat's on the screen. Yep. Timing.
Hey.
Block button was always like my fucking go-to. I was like, back to block. That's crazy. But now, after playing digging
kinds of
into
shit.
Killer Instinct for so many years. Once Killer Instinct came out, I was really like, back to block is much more satisfying. I wouldn't, you couldn't change it for Mortal Kombat because that would be fucking blasphemous, but I would not be mad at them if they were like, hey, it's going to be back to block now.
Yep.
It's just a much more just natural move to press back to fucking defend.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll ever take it away, but I wouldn't be surprised if they gave you the option.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Like in like a setting where it was just like, do you want to hit a button or do you want to hold back to block? I think that's a good way to please both sides of that fence.
one thing that I imagine you probably like quite a bit is every special move is like quarter circle or the Shoryuken forward, down
I
forward.
do like it.
No
There's
back forwards, no charge moves.
The charges are easier for me than back forward. It's that timing for some reason.
Plays great though, Jake. I
Awesome.
really wish you were here to be able to play with us because I think you would really like it. And what's really important, and it's actually going to carry us into our secondary segment here in a minute, but it is so just rooted in Japanese culture.
Oh yeah,
And
the
just
locales,
the locales, the fucking costumes, everything is native Japanese language. It's just
So it's not like we didn't get, shitty fighting. It's not shitty because I like it a lot, but like the fighting game general, just power metal music that you normally get. We actually got some.
No, you get
some straight up samurai ass music.
Exactly. You get fucking traditional Japanese flutes. The music is beautiful. There's only a couple of stages where I'm like, oh, this is fucking weird music.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Yep. You'll hear some traditional instruments. You'll see, you'll get all those cool visual cues that you want.
My qualms where we couldn't do the versus mode. I was playing today before we came to the studio to set up for the show.
Yeah.
And it appeared that issue is now fixed. So if that's the case, I will have not very many qualms.
Nice.
So I don't know that it's worth $60 because it's very low on features. It's only got 16 fighters right now, 4 DLCs coming out, which will bring the roster still only up to 20, but that's okay. But it definitely would have put it at a $40 price point.
Yeah, I think that's what we all thought it was going to release. That was $39.99.
Yeah, it's interesting that they charge the full 60. But right now you can get the season pass for free. If you pre-ordered it, you could have got the season pass for free, and then they open it up so you could still for like the next week or so or the next few days. Maybe by the time this drops on the channel and on stuff like that, it might be over with. I don't know, but you can just go on and download the season pass for free. So,
yeah, if you're watching this live, go get the pass.
Virtual Jesse says in the chat, he says that the virtual pass or the season pass is available until the 30th, which is 2 days. So by the time this episode airs on YouTube and on podcasting services, it is over. So, anywho, it's great. Samurai Shodown is worth a buy. If you're casual about fighting games, maybe pick it up used. Or wait for a sale. But if you fucking want to play it, like I know you do, Jake, definitely spend the $60 if Microsoft ever sends you back an Xbox.